Senator Tammy Duckworth is an Iraq War veteran, a double amputee, and soon she'll be the first senator to give birth while in office. The Illinois Democrat announced this week that she is expecting a second baby girl in April, a few weeks after her 50th birthday. She wants other women struggling with infertility to know what she went through. 10 years of trying to conceive her first child and a miscarriage, this time while campaigning for the Senate.
What did your doctor say to you about the chances of getting pregnant at 49?
Well, he said it's the new 40. So he said a 50-year-old mom is a new 40. And I have the most wonderful fertility doctor, and he helped me with Abigail, and he just said, if you're willing to go through the process with me step by step, it will seem like it takes a long time, but we want to do this right. And he was right, and I just had to be patient and go through that. It's kind of like being a mom. You have no control.
I remember that feeling when I had one. I felt like a super mom. And then once you have the second one, all those illusions are shattered.
Oh, well, we'll see. Yeah, I didn't feel like a super mom during the first baby. I decided to run for the United States Senate when I was on maternity leave, which was a leap of faith to do that. So I was a congresswoman. I was trying to breastfeed, travel, campaign, do my job as a United States Congresswoman, and it was really, really tough. There were a lot of tears and a lot of, why am I doing this? And I just want to be home with my daughter. But then I would come across a situation that needed to be fixed, like legislation that I could pass, and I realized, no, I have to do this. This makes me a better legislator.
One of the things that you noticed when you were doing all that traveling was that a lot of airports didn't have anywhere for you to nurse.
No, and I would go into airports and I said, well, it's the handicapped stall in the public toilet. And I said, that's disgusting. You wouldn't eat a sandwich there. Why would you think that I should nurse my baby there or pump breast milk there? That's wrong. It was humiliating. And so I tried to pass some legislation on it. And it's out of committee. Mandatory nursing rooms for moms at airports, and hopefully we'll get an FAA bill and it'll become law.
Did you dream about going into politics before all of this happened?
Oh my Lord, never.
Duckworth was a helicopter pilot in the National Guard. Her call sign, Mad Dog. Shortly after she deployed to Iraq in 2004, her Black Hawk was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade. As she was recovering, she got a surprise invitation 13 years ago this week.
It was Senator Durbin who found me in the hospital. He invited all Illinois servicemen and women at Walter Reed, all wounded warriors, to go to the State of the Union. And I was one of two who was well enough to go. It was my first trip out of the hospital. It was very emotional to go into that gallery and look down and see this democracy that I just sacrificed for. It was overwhelming. I mean, it still gets to me, that feeling. And I was missionless. I was missionless. I was a helicopter pilot with no legs, and I was trying to find a way to serve my country. And we were having issues at Walter Reed, and I just became an advocate for my buddies because I happened to be the highest ranking amputee patient. And so I met Senator Durbin that night, and he made the mistake of giving me his personal phone number. And I just started calling him. I didn't know any better. And after about 10 months of this, he called me up and he said, you need to run for Congress. And that's how I got into this. It's crazy.
And now you're standing on the floor of the Senate and taking on the president on military issues.
I have a message for Cadet Bone Spurs. If you cared about our military, you'd stop baiting Kim Jong-un into a war that could put 85,000 American troops and millions of innocent civilians in danger.
You called him a 5 deferment draft dodger.
4 for school and 1 for medical reasons that he can't even remember what foot the bone spur was in. I can still feel the hangnail on my right foot, and it's missing. And we have a guy who says that he had a bone spur that kept him out of Vietnam, but doesn't remember where it was.
Do you think that disqualifies him from being commander-in-chief or making decisions about the military?
No, I think he was elected rightfully to be president of the United States, but I don't think that he has the right to question other people's support for our military, especially those of us who have served.
Duckworth is the first disabled woman in the Senate and the first member of Congress of Thai descent.
That's a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Unintentional. Well, the whole being the first sitting senator to give birth, I think, is ridiculous. It's 2018. We need more female senators. We are only 22 of us. I've been a little overwhelmed by how landmark it is when it shouldn't be. It's a 21st century.
But even someone used to breaking barriers runs into obstacles now and then.
I was the 10th one in the House, so there was policy in the House, but there's no policy in the Senate. I have to figure that out.
She recently discovered that children are still prohibited on the Senate floor, which complicates her plans for maternity leave.
I'm going to take the time that I need with my daughter, but in the middle of all that, there might be days when I have to, you know, we have a lot of close votes right now that I need to come in and not let the people of Illinois down.
Right.
But then what do I do with my baby?
So the Senate is behind the times, is what you're saying?
The Senate is behind the times, so we're gonna work on that.
And we'll be back in a moment.